Welcome to Police Beat. I'm Detective Jim Coffman. On today's show, we'll meet P.A. Moore, who will introduce a new segment called City Beat. But first, on Meet the Force, we'll talk with a public safety dispatcher and one of our community service officers. On Pet Connection, we'll meet Fran Law, an animal control officer. And on Traffic Talk, we'll join a couple of motorcycle officers as they work one of the busiest streets in Palo Alto. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Marissa Longoria and I'm a public safety dispatcher for the city of Palo Alto. Some of the responsibilities of the public safety dispatcher include answering non-emergency phone lines, emergency phone lines, and 911, as well as utility and animal control lines. Once we gather information about the caller, whom we refer to as the reporting party, or RP, we decide which department is to respond, create a call, and dispatch them via radio and computer. Before the city extends a job offer to someone for this position, the applicant must go through a rigorous application process to determine suitability for employment. The city first verifies that we are high school graduates, have a minimum of 1 year customer service experience, and can type at least 35 words per minute. Once this is done, the applicant takes a 3-hour-long written test, and if they pass that, they will be given an oral interview by a panel of people. This panel may consist of members of management, human resources, and personnel from police, fire, and utilities departments. The panel may give the applicant scenarios to determine how they would act if put in a particular situation and ask questions about the applicant's personal morale. If the applicant successfully completes the oral interview, they are then put through a thorough background investigation and finally a psychological evaluation and a physical examination. This is very time-consuming for both the applicant and city personnel, but also imperative in proving that the applicant will perform at an optimum level if hired. Now a little about myself and why I chose to get into this field. When I graduated from high school, I was sure I wanted to be a broadcast journalist. However, that type of job requires that you be able to relocate, sometimes without much notice. As a Bay Area native, having grown up in Campbell, staying close to my family and my boyfriend, now husband, was very important to me. I also became a mother at a young age and needed a job with stability where I could best utilize my interpersonal and communication skills. I have now been a public safety dispatcher for almost 3 years and was recently promoted to chief dispatcher, which is basically a shift supervisor position. I'm also the Ready Fox representative for Palo Alto Police, which is a program that educates elementary school children about proper use of 911. Additionally, I serve the SWAT team as their tactical dispatcher. When they have call-outs, I respond and keep track of their status on scene. I really enjoy this job, and after working as a deli clerk making sandwiches, a babysitter, a secretary, a technical writer, and a drugstore cashier, I cannot imagine having any other career. Though the testing process is stressful and at times intrusive, I felt like this would be the best thing for me because I take such joy in helping people. Also because I come from a law enforcement family, this is a profession that is comfortably familiar. I'm glad you've given you the opportunity to see the face behind the voice on the phone and police scanner and to know a little about how we get to become public safety dispatchers. So the next time you call to have your pilot lit, a stray animal picked up, request paramedics or police officers, feel free to say hi. I might be the one who answers.
Hi, I'm Stacy Henderson, and I've worked for Palo Alto Police Department for a little over 10 years now. I began my career in the PD after working for 8 years as the manager of economy cleaners. During that time, we acquired their police uniform cleaning account, which was great because I got to know them all on a first-name basis. One day, the traffic sergeant came in and told me about an opening as a parking enforcement officer. So I decided to apply, and for some reason, they hired me. I worked as a PEO for about 5 years, and during that time, I dealt with a lot of interesting people. I quickly discovered that most people don't like getting parking tickets. In fact, they hate it. So they will try anything to get out of getting one. I remember my first day on my own, I had chalked all the tires on University Avenue, and when I went back about 2.5 hours later to recheck them, I discovered a vehicle with the chalk mark still on it. I remember thinking, oh my God, I know if I cite this vehicle, someone is going to come out and start yelling at me. So it took me a long time to finally cite that vehicle, but once the first ticket was issued, all the rest were easy. Right now, I am currently working as a community service officer in the patrol division of the PD. As a CSO, I handle mostly Code 1 calls, non-emergency type of calls, such as auto burglaries with no suspects, and we take a lot of lost cell phones. This position was created so that the officers could spend more time concentrating on more police-related matters Lately, we have been taking a lot of ID thefts in where someone uses someone else's ID, such as their CDL, social security number, to either cash a check or open an unauthorized account, such as a cell phone or a credit card. In many of these cases, credit history can be damaged. On my days off, my mom and I love to go to the movies. We really love those chick flicks. I'm a big James Bond fan also.
Hi, I'm Officer Heather Akins of the Palo Alto Police Department, currently assigned to hiring and training. If you've ever thought about a career with the Palo Alto Police Department in law enforcement, now's the time to apply. With so many agencies, you may wonder, why Palo Alto? We offer a great 4-11 work schedule, which means you work 4 11-hour days and have 4 days off every week. We offer competitive salaries, excellent benefits, and have a variety of specialty positions to offer. But mostly, we have a unique group of people who are amazing to work with and learn from. If you think you have what it takes to be a Palo Alto police officer, call today for an application. Our number is 329-2601, or visit us on the web at www.papd.org.
This is Detective Jim Coffman for Traffic Talk. We're out here today in the 400 block of Embarcadero Road with two of our traffic officers, Brad Kilpatrick and Traffic Sergeant Scott Wong. Scott, the City Council has always had traffic safety as one of its top priorities. What are you doing to help traffic safety?
Well, the traffic team that we have right now focuses primarily on the school zones in the morning. We've identified several schools that we feel have a priority as far as traffic safety based on their location and the number of kids that cross at the locations near the schools. So we spend the first part of our morning there. Then after that, we address different traffic complaints brought to our attention by neighborhoods, things like that.
Embarcadero Road has always been a source of many complaints about speeding vehicles, and today we're here in the 400 block because of a change.
Last year, the Transportation Department was able to complete a traffic survey on several streets in town, Embarcadero being one of them, and based on their studies and the 85th percentile that they were able to determine, they also looked at the amount of pedestrian traffic, bicycle traffic, accidents, different things to factor in. With all that put together, we were able to get Embarcadero from Alma Street to Middlefield as radar enforceable.
Now, the speed limit here is 25. Explain to me what this 85th percentile is.
Basically what that is that during a certain time of the day, readings are obtained of the vehicles traveling on this roadway, and 85th percentile is basically 85% of the cars are going at a designated speed. That speed is determined, and based on what that speed is how the posted speed limit is determined.
How many accidents were there in Palo Alto last year?
The statistics that I have show that we've probably had around 1,200 accidents last year in the city of Palo Alto. Of those accidents, approximately 35% were injury or fatal accidents, and the others, 65% or so, were property damage only accidents.
And what's the leading factor that contributes to these accidents?
Well, in Palo Alto, I'd say approximately 30%, and it varies, but 30 to 35% of the primary collision factor is speeding, unsafe speed.
So if the public slowed down a bit, they could prevent 35% of the accidents?
Conceivably, that's an accurate statement, yes. If the traffic slowed down, I think that quite a few accidents would be prevented.
Well, you as a motorcycle officer aren't here just to make revenue for the city.
That's definitely correct. Well, we look at least my philosophy and the philosophy of the people that work for me is our objective is threefold, and we call it the 3 E's of traffic. And it's engineering, which we work with the Transportation Department on signage, road markings, things like that, and we work together to identify things that we think might help traffic flow better, make it a little bit safer at intersections, things like that. We also have education, where we try to educate the people that we come into contact with. We also do training at the Citizens Academy. We do meetings with community-based organizations when requested. On each traffic stop that we do, I try and educate, and I ask my people that work for me to try and educate the driver as to the reasons why we're stopping them. The other E is enforcement, and we do enforcement everywhere in two ways. One way is an actual apprehensive enforcement, where we will basically hide in a location to observe violations and take action. And the other one, what I call a deterrent enforcement, where we are visibly seen by the motoring public doing enforcement, because that way everyone that drives by sees that we're doing enforcement, and so we're not hidden. Because when we hide and do enforcement, the only person that really sees us is the one that gets ticketed.
But after you stop someone, everybody who passes by sees that there is some sort of enforcement stop going on, and that tends to slow people down.
Definitely. People may not realize that we're stopping someone for a seatbelt or maybe even just a light out. So just the enforcement action itself does offer deterrence, and that's a benefit as well.
There's a website that ranks Embarcadero Road as the #1 speed trap in the Bay Area.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a speed trap, because everything that we do here is legal. Speed trap by definition is not a legal method of obtaining a speed of a vehicle. And so I would say that if it's an area that's identified as being a place where you're going to get a ticket if you go too fast, then that's fine, and I support that, because believe it or not, a lot of these streets are arterials, and even though Palo Alto has a lot of industry in town, to get there you have to drive through residential neighborhoods, and so the speeds need to be 25, and people need to travel slower.
Can you reveal to us now some of the other streets that are surveyed and engineered in order to use radar?
Certainly. We actively work Alma Street. We spend a lot of time on Oregon Expressway. University Avenue is also radar enforceable, and also some portions of Middlefield Road we use radar on and do a lot of enforcement there.
The other streets in town don't get the same type of service?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say that we like to spread our enforcement around. These streets, again, are some of the major arterials in the town, so we do spend time there. But we also spend time in areas where, again, that there are school zones, areas where we get complaints from the neighborhoods, things like that. Even cul-de-sacs we've spent time doing enforcement on because a particular neighbor has identified a particular problem.
So if a resident knows that there's a speed problem on their street, they could call you and you'll send a motorcycle out there?
Well, I get several complaints through the internet as well as through telephone calls, and we do our best to try and address each person's concern. Again, taking into consideration that we do spend priority of our time in the school zones during the mornings and afternoons, as well as on the other arterials, we will try and get to them. I can't make a guarantee that we'll get there immediately, but we will look into it and do some enforcement there, yes.
Now, I've seen the radar trailer out on some of the streets that displays the speed of the car as it's driving past. Is there a camera in there that will take pictures and a photo radar?
Well, the radar trailer does not have a camera. What the radar trailer does is it gives public, again, that's part of our education program, an idea of how fast they are going. Maybe their speedometer isn't calibrated and needs to be calibrated, so the public can see, and it displays their speed and kind of reminds people to slow down and be aware. We also do enforcement behind the trailer. In other words, if we deploy the trailer somewhere, we may be sitting about a block down the road also doing radar enforcement and issuing citations.
Now, Brad hasn't returned yet from his traffic stop. Did you see the speed of the car that he was going after?
Unfortunately, I didn't, but knowing Brad, it's going to be probably at least 40 miles per hour. Brad's coming back right now, so we can ask him. But unfortunately, for many of these roadways, it's not uncommon to get speeds in the 50s and 60s and even 70s. 60, 70 on Embarcadero? That's freeway speed. Believe it or not, yeah, it's unfortunate, but we do have some people that tend tend to travel too fast, and that's what we're here for.
How does a violator know that these radar guns work?
That's a good question. Well, the radar cost about $2,000 around there to manufacture, and what we do is they're calibrated annually. They have an internal calibration system that we utilize before we turn the radar, actually before we apply the radar and start using it, but that's done every day. And then we also have an external calibration where we use a tuning fork and calibrate it. So we have checks and balances within the machine, outside the machine that we do. And basically when we do radar enforcement, though, it's a confirming tool. And we're supposed to be able to, based on our training, everyone needs to go to a minimum, I think it's 24-hour training course on radar use. And you have to be able to visually estimate the speed of vehicles within a 5-mile-an-hour range from 25 to 70 miles an hour. And then you use a radar to confirm the speed.
So you've written so many tickets now that if you went to court and told a judge that you estimated the speed at being 40, you wouldn't even need a radar.
Yes, that has been done. I haven't had to testify yet, as far as I can remember, as far as the visually estimated speed. But I think that if you have a vehicle that you estimate the speed is 80 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour, and the zone is a 25-mile zone, then I think that I have enough experience and training to substantiate that, and would probably, win that in court.
When Brad came back, I saw him use a tuning fork for the radar. Now that gives a constant that is picked up by the radar, so you will be able to tell that the radar is working properly.
That's correct. These particular models require a tuning fork calibration externally, and the tuning fork has an assigned mile per hour to it, and the tuning forks are even calibrated. And so I think in Brad's radar, he may have had a 55-mile-an-hour calibration fork that he used.
All right, Scott, tell me, what was the strangest excuse that you've ever heard from a violator who was stopped for speeding?
Strangest excuse. Probably, and I've had it more than once, is someone that needs to use the bathroom bad, and they needed to get there, and that's probably the strangest one. I wish I could have written them down because I'd probably be able to fill a book, but I think that's the most common strange one.
Well, to save the mystery, I'm not going to say whether or not you let him go or not. But this is Jim Coffman for Traffic Talk. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome to City Beat, brought to you by the City of Palo Alto. My name is P.A. Moore. On today's show, we'll be featuring the shuttle bus, an interview with our new planning director, Steve Emsley, and, by the way, spring is in the air, so let's take a look at the city's public art. The City of Palo Alto is committed to alternative transportation as a way to relieve traffic congestion and to maintain our quality of life. In fact, the City Council has made traffic calming and alternative transportation one of its top 5 priorities for the year. Here we have Gail Likens from the city's transportation department to tell us more about the city's shuttle. Gail, this shuttle must make it very easy for people to get around.
Oh, the shuttle is a great way to get around town without a car. It's carefree, car-free, and free. You can use the shuttle to go shopping, to go to work, to go visiting, to go to the library, and kids can use the shuttle to get to school without having to be chauffeured by their parents. We're standing at the corner of Embarcadero and Newell right now, waiting for the first of 2 Embarcadero shuttles to arrive to take kids to Pali High. The Embarcadero shuttle runs along Embarcadero between the Caltrain station and the Baylands area, taking commuters to work, and in the reverse direction it takes kids to Pali. As you can see, we had lots of kids riding the shuttle today.
About how many kids ride the shuttle?
Oh, I would say the Embarcadero shuttle, we have about 60 kids in the morning and afternoon riding. And overall, we have about 600 people riding the shuttle every day.
What are some of the other areas that the shuttle services?
The second shuttle is the Crosstown shuttle. It runs all day long, Monday through Friday, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. It starts in downtown Palo Alto and runs to South Palo Alto. And along the way, it stops at many destinations, including the main library, the art center, Mitchell Park Community Center, the senior center, the shopping districts, Midtown and Downtown, Charleston Shopping Center. And in the morning and afternoon, it goes all the way out to Gunn to take kids to Gunn, and in the reverse direction comes back and takes kids from Barron Park to Jordan Middle School.
The City of Palo Alto encourages you to try the shuttle. Please call the city's Transportation Division at 329-2520 for more information about the schedule, or check the city's website. We encourage you to try the shuttle. It's free, carefree, and car-free. The City of Palo Alto has an important job in land use, planning, and transportation. And that function is now being filled by Steve Emsley, our new planning director. But Steve is no stranger to Palo Alto. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, PA. It's a pleasure to be here.
Steve, tell us something about your background.
Well, I have 23 years of planning experience in the state of California, in the Bay Area and in Southern California. I've worked in a variety of communities similar to Palo Alto, facing a lot of the similar issues that Palo Alto is facing. I'm also a resident, as you mentioned. I've been living here with my wife and family for the last 14 years. We're residents of the Midtown area and have been so since 1988.
There are lots of things going on in Palo Alto right now. Tell us about some of the big projects your department is facing.
One of the biggest projects the department is involved in is the update of the zoning code. Palo Alto has had a zoning code for many years, and over time, changes and amendments to that have happened, but we haven't taken a holistic approach to it, looking at it from top to bottom. This is the first time that the city's done this in many years. So that is an effort that is currently ongoing. It's very high with the council. It's one of their top priorities. We're also working on the housing element, which is a required policy document of the state of California that every city in the state must have. We've recently completed a draft. We are continuing to refine that draft, and we'll be reviewing that with the city council, with the public later this summer and into the fall of next year. On the development side, there's one significant major project, the redevelopment of the Ricky's Hyatt site, and that is currently underway, and draft environmental impact report is currently available for the public to be reviewing at this time.
Sounds like a lot of things happening. But planning has so many different aspects to it. What's your favorite?
Well, my favorite is really the working with the community, working with the distinct groups, the various stakeholders involved in planning issues. I see it as a chance to find common solutions, work at problem solving, and using it as a way to bring different points of view together and creating a solution that's ultimately best for the community. I welcome to the opportunity to meet with various homeowners groups, with service clubs, business associations, Chamber of Commerce, trade associations. My calendar is filling up very quickly, and I'm very excited about the opportunity to get out and meet with the various groups. So I would relish the opportunity to get out and talk about issues confronting particular areas or particular stakeholders.
Well, that sounds great, Steve. So welcome to the city, and happy to have you here. Spring is in the air. It's a perfect time to go out and enjoy the city's outdoor artwork. Since 1976, the Public Art Commission has been commissioning works of art for the city. Currently, we have 15 murals and 15 sculptures. Take the family and go for a walk. Download the brochure for a self-guided walk from the city's website and enjoy the show. Thank you for watching City Beat, Inside Palo Alto. This is P.A. Moore.
Now available for adoption at the Palo Alto Animal Shelter. Bogey is a 5-year-old neutered male bearded collie mix who is a true lover. He enjoys lots of hugs, loves to learn, and always aims to please. Tippy is a 7-year-old neutered male Cocker Spaniel. Well-mannered and brimming with affection, Tippy can't wait to meet you and your family. Rosie, an 8-month-old spayed female pit bull, is an absolute pleasure to be with. Very loving and playful, Rosie is ready to join an adult home. Alex is a charming 9-month-old spayed female boxer who would be great for an active home. Alex can't wait to get back to obedience school. Jeepers is an 8-month-old neutered male rabbit who needs love and attention. Jeepers enjoys being held and having his fluffy hairbrush. Egypt is an adult spayed female rabbit who lost her way home and needs a new family to share her love and tenderness with. Incredibly playful, best described as Julia, a 4-year-old spayed female cat who also loves those long lap naps. And who can resist Daisy, a 3-year-old spayed female cat. A real sweetheart, Daisy is great with people of all ages. All these animals and many more can be found at the Palo Alto Animal Shelter, 3281 East Bayshore Road in Palo Alto. We're open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Give us a call at 650-496-5971.
Thanks for watching this episode of Police Beat. We encourage your comments. Send your email to the address listed on your screen. For everyone here at Police Beat, I'm Detective Jim Coffman.